Hello, this is Greg Ellis from Green Greg's Garden and Worm Farm, coming to you today from my log barn. I'm going to explain to you today why you really need a tribe or a community to survive for a long time in a situation where you have a grid down or whatever it is that causes the to hit the fan. So before I get into that, I'm going to announce that there's several related videos to this and a lot more stuff coming out. So if you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, bang the update notification bell, check to make sure that YouTube has not unsubscribed. You're unbang the notification bell, because there's a lot more videos. All my videos actually do pertain to these topics of how to survive and thrive and stay out of the hive when it hits the fan. Also, you can help my channel by checking the links below and getting seeds and supplies from Tree Leaf Market and My Patriot Supply, and for your garden purposes, to make your own soil without having to go to town and buy fertilizers and chemicals and stuff that's unnatural. Check out Green Greg's Garden and Worm Farm. That's my worm farm. You can buy worms from me. That said, on to the subject here. Back in the days of old, the American Indians and other tribes, if somebody did something really bad, a form of capital punishment was to, pardon my neighbors here, my tribe gets a little unruly. I hear a motorcycle or something here. In the days of old, the tribal peoples had a punishment. It was akin to capital punishment. It was to ostracize or excommunicate someone from their tribe. Now bear in mind, in those days, people knew how to live off the land. They knew what plants to eat. They knew how to hunt, fish, trap. They knew how to work really hard, and they typically were in good shape. However, being put outside the tribe was usually a death sentence. Some of them were really good and could survive on their own for a while. You know, the shaman went on walkabouts and things like that, where they had to survive in the wilderness by themselves. But that was an exception. A lot of those people did not come back. So bear in mind that that's what you got to have. You've got to have the ability to have other people in the communities to rely on. What happens when you're sick? What happens when you break a leg? What happens when so many things happen? And also, in a grid down situation, if you're not getting along with your neighbors, if y'all haven't worked together, if you don't have a tribe, people are going to be coming to get your stuff, whether it's your garden or your stored supplies. Sure, you can have guns and bullets and beans and all that stuff, but you know what? You're better off if your neighbors also are the prep in mind. Now, if you live in a community where you can't find neighbors who, or your neighbors just don't get it, you might be better off to move out to form communities. Now, that's something I'm going to emphasize in the future and work toward, is the formation of communities. That's a long-term future goal of mine. I also have a concept that I'm going to reveal on this channel in due course for a home that you can live out of and make a living out of. It's going to be like a fortress that you build basically from the ground under your feet, similar to the Earthship house on steroids. It will encompass 1/10 of an acre. You'll be able to grow all your food in it, just like the DeFace family. And you will have the DeVace family, in Pasadena, California. It was a family of 4 adults. The father just died in 2016, Jules DeVace. Great family. I visited them. Going there was like almost like a religious experience, because they were so well adjusted and so out of the rat race, because they grew all their own food on 1/10 of an acre. And they actually sold food from that 1/10 of an acre and made a living off of it. They lived simple, but they were well adjusted and happy people. The 3 kids still live there today, a son and 2 daughters. And what they do is remarkable. They make a living and live off a 1/10 of an acre. And they have a concept for a home based on that type of concept and Earthship combined, that would enable you to have all your food in the inner courtyard, and a basically a 2-tiered home where you grow on top of the house in the courtyard, and the whole compound would be a 1/10 of an acre, and you would have a downstairs basement type area, or it could be upstairs if you can't put a basement where you're at, that you could have shops in to do many other kind of things, or grow stuff that don't require sunlight, worms, mushrooms, whatever. So that's the concept I'm going to put out here. But that's not what, this would be a compound, like a fortress, that would have like 0 energy requirements practically, like Earthship house. It's going to be amazing, but that's later. So back to the tribe. There is a good book written by a friend of mine, Command Sergeant Major Micheal Mabee. He spoke at my Power Grid Defense Conference, my last one last year. Go to powergriddefense.org, look up the speakers list. You'll find Mike Mabee. Go look up his book, Civil Defense. His book is about taking your communities. So I'm in a neighborhood. Yeah, you can hear my neighbors today out riding their four-wheelers and everything else. Yeah, there they go. Sorry about that. You know, I can't control it. Some days I'm out here and you hear machine gun fire, literally, actual machine gun fire. And in one of my videos, the one I did on the, but I also got a swamp here and the wilderness around me, as you can see. So half my place here is like in the city, and the other half is like some kind of wilderness. You know, I'm kind of in the borderline here. So in any event, the whole idea is that you work with your neighbors to develop civil defense, and you try to survive together as a community. That is your best security. Like I said, you may not be able to get all neighbors on board or enough neighbors on board. Even a few will help. I've got a lot of ex-Army people in my neighborhood here. That helps. The fact that I myself and my son are both ex-Army sharpshooters helps too. We can cover each other's back. Yeah, we don't. One of us can be awake at all times. That's something to take into account, is to have family members and be able to sleep in cycles where one of you can keep watch at all times. Shifts is the word I'm reaching for. Sometimes I get, can't remember stuff. CRS. But anyway, so the tribe is the most important thing, because you need people to reinforce you. Like I said, what happens when you break a leg? What happens when you get a fever? What happens when you're deathly ill and the bears or whatever come, the wolves, the wild dog packs are raging around? What happens when you are down? Even when you're good, even when you are in good shape, it helps to have other people that you can rely on. So I think really in the long term, we need to, those of us that can, ought to focus on forming communities, either out of the community we live in, communities with our family, or move into a place that's highly survivable, where we can have select communities develop. That is my long-range goal. And all this stuff that I'm showing here is building blocks toward a community like that, toward the type home that I mentioned. And if you need to live in a solitary home, the type home that I mentioned would be an ideal type house. It's not required. I mean, even what I got here in the midst of this neighborhood is a fair start. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of hungry neighbors, I know that. But I'm also trying to figure out how to accommodate that as best I can. You know, the people that will work with me, I'm willing to work with them because I'm gonna need help. And so I can exchange food for some things. And I plan to grow enough to be able to do that. And I also can, we can work together to help defend each other. So I'm planning to develop something of a working tribe here, a community. That's what we're working toward. Like I said, I do have several ex-Army people in this area, and that helps. Ex-Army survivals. And hey, before I was in the Army, I grew up a redneck on Sand Mountain. Before I was in the Army and became a rocket scientist, I was actually some kid growing up on Sand Mountain, and I'm used to gunfire. So I've heard some of you guys think that you're just gonna go out and take food from people. Be aware that some of us ain't gonna be easy to take things from. If you're gonna come here and be willing to work, we might have a different attitude, but you knock our door down, you're not gonna do too well. Trust me, you don't wanna go there. You're not gonna last long in a grid down situation if you think your means of survival is bullets. He who lives by the sword dies by the sword. That is a very bad strategy. It will not serve you well. You might get by for a short term, even if you form a gang, a motorcycle gang, and you get out and y'all are wreaking havoc on the communities all over the place. Guess what? Eventually the communities are going to organize and they're going to hunt you down. They will absolutely hunt you down. That's how society works. You will be put out of business in some fashion. People aren't going to tolerate that. And so that is no means to survive in the long term. So don't even plan on, yeah, the drug gangs and such are going to be a real problem in the grid down. And that's another reason to have communities. So I really want to emphasize communities are the way to go. Tribes are the natural indigenous form of government that people have. It is what's worked for humanity throughout the ages. And maybe one of the good things about grid downs, we won't have neighbors riding around four-wheelers, right? Nah, that's good. I'm glad they're able to do that. It makes it rough to video. You never pick a good time to video with all that, but check it out. My videos are going to encompass a lot of things. How to live off the land. I do cover one of my videos, all the food up here in the skies and these trees. I cover how to eat from pines. I cover some wild foraging. I'm going to do some more of that. I got a little short video I'm going to put up soon about foraging off the city block even. We'll be covering skills that you'll need to live outdoors and survive in a grid down situation. So I got an animal, blacksmith implements, the gardening aspects. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a video on why preppers are not going to survive. You need to see why preppers are not going to survive, why most preppers will die is the title of it. And it's all about why you need to know how to forage and how you need to know how to grow your own food. And as you can see, I am actively gardening, and I'm going to be putting out quite a few more videos about my preparation of these raised beds, recovering this garden from the weed jungle I had back here where I had to ignore it last year due to overtime work and running a power grid defense conference. And I've just discovered I'm going to have to do much more overtime work this year because the program I'm working on has got an accelerated launch date now. But that's another story. I'm going to try to find a way to keep this garden going this year. But in any event, these are important skills to learn. I'll be showing how eventually I built the greenhouse. I'll be showing the stuff on these solar panels. I'll be showing how I built the log barn. A lot of these things in time, and how I'm going to develop the top house I've got in mind. So stay tuned. Do bear in mind, I cover a wide range of topics. A lot of people, when they will click on subscribe because they like one video under one topic, but when I put another topic out, they go, ah, they unsubscribe. Well, all these topics are here to help you. They're all interrelated. They're all topics that you need to know to survive and thrive. But I do want to emphasize again, in closing, that the tribe is the best way to go. The tribe is the form of government that has gotten people by. Nation states won't survive. Counties might, but counties are going to be hard to maintain. They're just too big, too much bureaucracy. I like the fact that sheriffs are elected. I think they're the ultimate law enforcement because they are an elected individual, unlike a lot of other law enforcement who are appointed. I think we'll need some form of arbitration. It might be that you've got a tribal council to form that. It may be that the judge and juries of the future will be tribal councils. It may be, and that's how mankind survived for all of history until nation states come up. And outside the realm of a nation state, the tribe is our natural form of government. So bear that in mind and start figuring out how you can form your own communities, your own civil defense, like Mabee's book suggests, how you can work with and live with your neighbors, and how you can form tribes to survive and thrive. You're going to need it. You're really going to need it. You might survive for a while on your own, but it's going to get really, really, really tough. In any way you shake it, survival after it hits the fan is not going to be a cakewalk. Having a tribe will improve your chances quite a bit. So go there, have a tribe and survive, and learn how to eat and thrive off what's on the land. Look here, dandelions. Yum, yum, yum. I'm going to cover those in the future. Pine, you can eat that. How to garden. So, again, subscribe, bang the update notification bell, and check out my links below. To grow a garden like this, you need heirloom seeds. Heirloom seeds are see, you get a lot of plants that are hybrid because hybrid plants produce maybe bigger fruit, like giant tomatoes. But you can't replant the seeds and get the same kind of plant back. So to have seed that you can plant and replant and not have to go to the seed store, which won't exist, get heirloom seeds. You can find them at True Leaf Market. You can find them at My Patriot Supply. True Leaf Market has a wide range of seeds, high germination rate, and they have really great customer service. I love True Leaf Market. My Patriot Supply. I'm not saying don't buy supplies and prep. You should, and that's a great place to go. They have great deals, and the garden where you don't need to, as I said, where you don't need to buy supplies from the stores, chemicals for pesticides, fertilizers. You can make your own, but you need a worm farm to do it. That will really help. So check out greenregs.com. Thank you for watching.